Live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another Friday night live stream. It's Clown World Friday.
It is.
Yeah.
Lots of clown stuff going along.
Lots of clowny stuff going on. We've got some whiskey. Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
So
Friday.
Russell the Bassed is here, hanging out, came for dinner. How are you doing there, Russell the Bassed?
Good. The interesting story this week, I joined the ranks of the obese this week.
Bro, I've been ranking pretty high in the ranks of the obese for quite a while recently.
I joined obese. I'm officially over 30. My BMI is over 30. I'm now obese.
Oh, is that how they measure?
Yeah,
So
based on my height and my weight, my BMI is just over 30. So I'm now officially obese.
Bro, you are not.
I am now officially obese.
Obese.
This is what obese looks like.
But check how thin those legs are.
Look how thin these legs are.
Check how thin those legs are, bro. Little ace-ted legs. Anyway, welcome to the Bri Room. We're hanging out, and we thought we'd just have a cool little chat on current affairs and kind of what's going on in the clown world today. So remember to subscribe, share, whatever. Do all those YouTube things. You know, it's interesting, Russell. Like the last couple of days, we lost about 3 subscribers. Now,
Is that all?
Well, I mean, there's been days where we've released a video and like 7 subscribers gone, just because I just unsubscribe. I mean, I haven't in my life unsubscribed to any YouTube channel ever in my life.
Well, I have, but generally speaking, I stay subscribed for a very long time, unless the videos are too frequent, and I'm not interested. You know what I mean? And we're not that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but then you can just turn off the bell and.
No, I don't always. It's very seldom that I've got the bell on. You know what I mean? There's very few guys that have got the bell on for my YouTube subscriptions. It's not that many because I'm always scrolling through my YouTube feed anyway.
Yeah.
So, and if I see something, I always watch it. I'll mark it as watch later. You know what I mean?
Maybe our non-aggression pedantry got these oaks fired up and they unsubscribed in mass.
Well, 3 subscribers.
Lolberts, but that Lolberts can't take a joke. They're always ragging on the conservatives and stuff, but yes, like Lolberts, they serious ones. There are some out there with good senses of humor, like our good old friend Mpiake or Sipamandle, as he's known as these days.
And the guys that we have good fun with, like RHS and
Richard H. Stevenson. Dumo is also a good sport. You rag those oaks and stuff, but most of them are good sports. But I don't know. It seems as if some of the oaks just, in all honesty, it's probably just boomers unsubscribing to us because they're like, no, these oaks don't want a war. What's going on here? Unsubscribe. No war talk here, man. What's this? What the heck is this?
What do you call it? The Boomaloo.
No, there. Boogaloo. It's a Boogaloo. Boogaloo Boersian. How's it?
Yeah, Boogaloo.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But the Lolberts call it Boogaloo.
Yeah.
But the I'm saying like the boomers that are like, we'll go and dig out our old camo from the trunk and grab the pellet gun.
I think it's like
go off to war.
Yeah, it's like the average age of the Saitlanders is probably 55.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they just anyway. But those oaks generally don't have a sense of humor. They've got short fuses and they.
Well, you see, the thing is, sense of humor is incredibly important because you need to be able to, you cannot lose your cool. It's one of the reasons I could never go and sit. I've got a lot of appreciation for some politicians who are in the opposition to like ANC and EFF and DA and whatever. You got to go sit there in Parliament and listen to all that nonsense like that. The guys that are so clueless but are in charge. It's
having a good sense of humor is kind of like a poker face. It's kind of like not showing your best hand kind of thing.
Yeah, look, it makes you unpredictable.
Yeah, it makes you very unpredictable. This is the whole point. That people can throw things at you and you're like, what? You know, ha 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 ha. You know,
it's like,
kind of thing.
I mean, the thing is, people throw the insults at like a lot of hardcore atheists will throw the insult at Christians and call them Christ cucks. But I think
Christ Yes.
but to be honest with you, I find that the funniest thing.
Ah, what a compliment! I'm a cuck to Christ. Ah, yes. Okay, I guess I am.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just so funny. I mean,
Yeah, it is funny.
I just thought it was funny. I mean,
Yeah, it's quite funny. So what does Boogaloo Boursian says, hi guys, first time I'm actually watching your live stream live. How's it, bro? Good to have you here, Boogaloo Boursian. It's like a little bit of a tongue twister, that Boogaloo Boursian.
Boogaloo Boursian, yeah.
Boogaloo Boursian. Sorry, Boursian, I've a few whiskeys, you know. Chris Kroll says, Russell, put some pants on, man.
Check. What's this? A shorts, man.
Russell has these serious issues because he's got such thick legs. He has problems buying pants.
Yeah, most trousers can't fit me around here.
Because he's got real rugby legs, you know. Anyway, so current affairs. So I guess I'm going to have to leave the Catholic Church now, Russell, because, you know, apparently the Catholic Church supports same-sex marriages, or civil unions, as they call now. Ah.
Yeah, well, apparently news has come out about, you know, how can I put it? It was people jumped to conclusions a little bit too quickly there on that whole thing. So
this is the news. So in a Netflix documentary about Pope Francis called Francesco, there was an interview that was actually done in Spanish. Remember, Pope Francis is a Argentine.
Yeah.
He's Argentinian. And the interview was done in Spanish, and English media picked up on this. And anyway, so there's a couple of different factions over here. Some people say, the Pope's a heretic. He's you know, supporting gay marriage and all that. And I just want to put this out of here. I mean, myself and Russell are both Christians. Look, we don't support gay marriage. I really don't care about gay civil unions. Doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Society will do what society does at the end of the day. The church will always do what Christ says.
Yeah, this is the whole point.
That is the point, and that's never going to change.
Yeah. So anyway, this documentary came out, and now that it's exploded all over the documentary hasn't even come out yet. It hasn't even been released, as far as I know.
Jeez, the guys are quick out of the
box. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it makes you wonder, right?
Jeez, yeah.
It makes you really wonder. So documentary hasn't even been released, and now all of a sudden the Pope supports same-sex civil unions, as they call them. You know, the Pope all of a sudden, you know, he's pro-gay and all this sort of thing, and that's just not accurate. The bottom line is, look, what the Pope, even if he did say that he supports civil unions, guess what? That's just your opinion, dude. You know,
well,
the Pope's opinion can't change Catholic dogma.
Not forever. Not officially. Not forever. No.
What do you mean, not officially, not forever? Like, not at all.
Yeah. Because I mean, the thing is, you know, even though, you know, doctrines aside,
it's not like people seem to think that the Pope has like the Catholic doctrine textbook, and he can just take his pen and just go, scratch that. Gay marriage. Cool.
No, but no doctrine has ever been established that way.
No, of course not. They have councils. Yeah, massive.
So I mean, I think the Pope, even if the Pope said that, he obviously, you know, there's still no, even if he said that as a passing message, all right, it still would need to go through a long sort of process to become part of an old institution like the Roman Catholic Church's official doctrines.
Yes.
So, you know, it's actually at this stage, even if he was in full support, it still wouldn't mean anything at this stage anyway. So I wouldn't get, you know, the secularists and progressives and the liberals and that sort of thing. I wouldn't. I would just chill a little bit there. You know, it's far from anything acceptable actually at this stage.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
No, it's definitely way out in the rough. There is no, and you know, like, look, granted, it is a sort of dangerous path, because here's the thing: is like I said that I don't have a problem with civil unions, like same-sex civil unions. I don't care, really. It doesn't bother me. If you're gay, like here's my thing, okay? If you're gay and you want to be gay and you want to do whatever you want and stuff, it's really none of my business. You ask me my opinion on it, I'll tell you my opinion on it. And my opinion is that I don't support it, and I believe it to be a deeply immoral behavior. But I am called as a Christian to love you, support you, and nurture you. So any church should do the same.
Well, I mean, I think that's what Francis was saying.
Yeah.
He's basically saying he's saying that a union of friendship and working together,
yes,
and between somebody with same-sex attraction issues and the church, and how the church relates to persons with same-sex relation things. You know, I think that's what probably was getting at.
Yeah. So there was a miscommunication in the language thing, because it was translated from Spanish into English. But I just want to get this over here quickly. I want to read you the actual word, or the actual, where the actual miscommunication came in. Okay, there we go. Can't find it now.
Yeah, look, I mean,
doesn't matter. Anyway, the bottom line is that there was a word that was used, okay? And look, my wife is Peruvian, and her first language is Spanish. So, you know, she understands these sort of things. And she told me, she says, no, that means like we should be friends with gays.
In other words, in terms of a union, is in reaching out in cooperation.
Yes. So
it's not necessarily an accepting of their lifestyle, but a coming alongside to work, because the church still sees it as a deviant behavior.
Yes.
But at the same time, it does not mean that that person should be shunned from the broader
broader
society.
Not, but that's the whole point that he said. He
and
said
that's
that
the union.
They have the right to
be part of
a family.
Yeah.
So they have the right to not be shunned by their family and pushed aside and that sort of thing, which is wrong, obviously. But they also, hang on, this studio light is getting, sorry about this.
Yeah, he's just sorting out the. Yeah, it looks like a strange light now.
Is it?
Yeah, up there looks a bit better, but we're going to have a bit of a problem.
Right.
Our lighting, there's a bit of an issue here at the moment. That's not too bad actually. Not too bad.
Yeah, but I've just realized now that my laptop is not plugged in, so I'm probably going to have to get this closer anyway. So let's do this.
Slight studio error here.
Winging it.
No, but we don't claim to be professionals. You know, we're not YouTubers, so to speak, who are doing this for a living. You know, we don't need to be all like a slick.
No, we don't. Just move.
Yeah, I did. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. It's actually not too bad, actually.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
Whatever. Yeah. So the Pope, eh? Loads of folks are out there kind of saying, "Oh, the Pope this and the Pope is a heretic and this and that and all that stuff." It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense.
I think we'll all go back to normal. It's just something. Sometimes people love the stuff to just write about, you know. They love to write just to like to have a nice, very. The idea is that you have a media just love a good story. Yeah,
We'll just have to look like, we'll just have to look like angels now.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Oh.
I'll put my head in the way here. There we go.
Yeah, so I still put some pants on. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's the idea that yeah, and the liberal media or the mainstream media and stuff, they jumped on this thing like
The documentary's not even out yet.
No, it's not even released yet, and that's the bizarre thing. It makes you kind of think, like, you know, are these guys pushing this agenda? You know, I mean,
you can push it all you want, guys. All you want. Please. I'm just waiting for the day. I'm actually like saying, you know, I'm actually tired of all this, like, what you call it, a slow war or slow draining sort of thing. Grind.
Boiling frog.
Yeah, this is what I feel like, you know, and, you know, we need some Christian accelerationism, you know. Let's just go all the way. Let's go, let this thing run all its course.
For what? To achieve what?
So it can all come to the fore, right? Because Christians have always been the ones to build society, right? Okay, so we've got the instruments and the faith and the belief because we've done it so many times over the centuries, right? So we don't have a problem with rebuilding society. Okay, we'll recreate our own institutions. We've done it so many times over and over and over. We don't need liberals and longbirds and libertarians and the United Nations and the World Health Organization. We don't need them. Okay, we don't. Right? We're our own group, own sort of thing. So
mostly also because we just don't recognize them.
Correct. And
like why
that's the thing. So I actually say what I'm getting at, Scott, is let this. I'm actually chomping at the bit. Let this thing go to its nth degree, right? So that whatever happens, let the cards fall where they fall. Okay. There'll be collateral damage. Some Christians will even lose their faith, which is actually a good thing because they didn't, you know, rather have
false conversions.
Rather have a 10 dynamic, full of faith people than 100 wannabes. You know,
Flakes, yeah.
Correct. So I'll rather take 10 over the 100.
Sure.
All right. And God works the same way. He always works through a minority. Always.
Always. Yeah.
So my philosophy on this thing is, I'm actually. It's not what in terms of society, I would love to live in a more wholesome society. Yes, for sure. But on the other hand, I'm actually excited when this sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to you earlier about the Civil Unions Bill in South Africa. It's just been signed into an amendment to the Civil Unions Bill that basically says state employees, magistrates, that they can't use their conscience and not perform the duties of a marriage officer.
Yeah, the way that, here's the thing, the way that the state is trying to do, well, the purpose behind that, Russell, and you spoke about this, is obviously control. That's what it's all about. But the purpose behind it is almost like they assume that, okay, we now control your marriage. That's basically what they want to say by saying that, okay, you can't now refuse to not marry. So, for example, the logic behind it is if you are a pastor or someone who happens to be a marriage officer and a gay couple comes in and says,
I think it's actually just at this stage, anyways, just for the state employees, but for now.
Okay.
For now. So it's basically for state employees at Department of Home Affairs, at the judicial courts, magistrates
Before,
court,
could
etc.
they refuse?
They could actually. It was actually a constitutional court ruling that they couldn't refuse.
Oh wow!
But now the constitution, now the case, it was actually, from what I understand, it was actually people were allowed to be conscientious objectors originally.
That's fascinating. But now, I mean, so they're moving towards the state basically saying that we control your marriage. But not only that, we spoke about this earlier as well, is that they basically control you. You are the state's property.
Yeah.
Also, if you are a marriage officer, do as you're told, do what
you
the
are
state
our property,
tells you.
yeah.
It's like, for those of you out there that are living under a rock and seem to think that South Africa is not a vehemently, vehemently, violently communist country, you just need to look at this regulation or this ruling.
Mm-hmm.
It is outright and violently Chinese communism.
Basically, the broad, bigger, wide-angle lens here, the context is this, right? You are our property. That is, they're saying that right now for the employees of the state, right? If you're not an employee of the state, I think you can still object, right? For now.
Give it a year or two.
Give another year or two, it'll change. But what I'm saying is, I was telling you earlier, Scott, I have a different sort of view on this as well. I'm tired of Christian organizations going to courts.
Yeah. What is it going to do?
Why are we? Do we really think we can? Do we really think we can negotiate with the devil? I mean, what do we expect? All right. Basically, what we should say is, okay, do whatever you want, all right, but no matter what you do, we're going to do what we do. So in other words, what you're saying is,
Russell, Romans 13.
Romans 13.
Come on, man, Romans 13, Russell.
This is what you're going to do, is say, listen, all right, you can either, whether or not you are going to give us this freedom, we're simply going to take it for ourselves.
Well, I mean, okay, let's make this crystal clear. Not through a revolution.
No, well, this isn't about power. We're not seeking political power.
No.
Right? So it can't be that. It's not a revolution for power.
We already have all the power.
Yeah.
The idea is that we just we want to be able to live our lives as Christians without being bothered. I mean, why is that such a difficult thing?
And the thing is, your duty as a Christian is to continue living as a Christian no matter what the rest of the world says.
True.
Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's a clear instruction. Let the world do what it does.
And this is also...
Let it do what it does. It's going to do what it does. And I'm sorry, that is your duty. So I almost feel like it's like all the power that we've been given, all the power in the world, the spiritual power in the world has been given to us, but we choose to ignore that power and go and fight powerless battles for ourselves in courts.
Yeah.
It's a conviction of mine that I've only held. Originally, I thought, I've got a court. And then I thought, what was I thinking?
But Russell, so back to the whole Pope thing. This is also something that loads of oaks tell me.
It's all related,
it's all related. So again, it's about control and about power. that's the dominance, dominance, physical, actual dominance.
No, it's a power play.
Yeah. So anyway, so here's the thing: so many secularists, atheists, gays, even Christians say things like, "Well, guys, let's be consistent about this whole thing. You guys are so up in the gays' faces, but you have no problem with adultery or whatever." And I'm like, what? I'm like, of course I have a problem with adultery. Actually,
No, it's just
adultery is literally the only thing that you can get divorced for in the Catholic faith. It's literally the only thing that they will give
and it's not
a
even
divorce for.
they'll give a divorce for it, but they won't just like, oh, you committed adultery.
Oh, yeah, you committed adultery.
Oh, okay,
cool,
sure,
cheers.
yeah. It's not even then. It's not that simple.
It's even it's really bad. But anyway, but the whole thing is it's got nothing to do with Christians harping on about homosexuality. It's nothing to do with that. Actually, homosexuality is really a non-issue in the church. And when I say the church, I mean the broader church. So the Protestants, all of them, Orthodox, Catholics, it's a non-issue. It doesn't exist. I don't know if have you ever been to a sermon where they talk about homosexuality?
Well, they talk about sexual sin, but not as a specific.
I've never been to a sermon that was directly dedicated to a topic of homosexuality. Never in my life.
Never. Not from the pulpit, ever.
Never. It doesn't get spoken about because it's a non-issue. The reason why churches and these organizations now need to defend themselves against homosexuality is because society is all about it now.
No, they're so vehemently for it that anybody that doesn't hold to that view is a target, and they make a big deal of it.
Exactly. So it's like it is literally on the tips of everyone's tongues nowadays, and the church is now under attack because of it. So, like I said, I have no problem with secular marriages in court and that sort of thing. No problem at all. Literally no problem. I actually support it. Don't have a problem with it. Because all they want to do is they want to have their own rights. Fine, go for it. Because guess what? I don't believe in rights anyway. So you can have them. I don't care about them.
I'm not going to fight over rights.
I don't care. Rights are nothing to me. So go for it. Have them do whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a bigot. I'm not like one of those guys that will start shouting,
we're not Stephen Anderson or the Westboro
Westboro Baptist Church.
Or Pastor Stephen Anderson.
We're not like that. So I really don't. If you want to be a homosexual, it's none of my business. I really don't care about it. But what I do, where it does and where it will start becoming a problem is when homosexuals start trying to work their way into churches, and we've seen it already with the Anglican Church,
especially the what is it, the Episcopal the church in North America,
Episcopalian
Church in North America, the Anglican Church and
Anglican Church all over.
Yeah, I don't know what this. The Anglican Church is
the Anglican Church is like
weird
progressive, thing. Like the most progressive, like female priests, female lesbian priests.
I don't know, man.
Gay marriage, everything. They take it. They do everything. Like they really don't care.
Yeah, that's a strange. They're a strange bunch. But anyway, I mean.
So where I have a problem with is because I'm Catholic. And the Catholic Church has never and never will support gay marriage. It's just not in Catholic teaching. And I'll read you the teachings of the Catholic Church from the Catechism. I mean, this is a great document. The Catholic Catechism. Dude, this is great. If you've never read the Catholic Catechism, I definitely suggest it. So chastity and homosexuality. Homosexuality refers to relations between men or between women who experience an exclusive or predominant sexual attraction toward persons of the same sex. It has taken a great variety of forms through the centuries and in different cultures. Its psychological genesis remains largely unexplained, basing itself on sacred scripture, which presents homosexual acts as acts of grave depravity. Tradition has always declared that homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered. Now, what does that mean by disordered?
It just means it's not part of the ordinary life of things.
It's not part of natural law. They are contrary to the natural law. See? They close the sexual act to the gift of life. They do not proceed from a genuine, affective, and sexual complementarity. Under no circumstances can they be. So, I mean, it's quite clear that what the Catholic Church teaches and how they come back is they're crackling. Chris. Is it any better, guys? Sorry about this. Comment section. So it's Daniel. I never know if it's Daniel or Daniel.
Daniel from Stratton. You say they sorted. Okay,
Sorted.
great.
Okay, cool. So Daniel, I don't know if is it Daniel or Daniel?
Law about marriage officers forced to marry engaged. Yes, we are talking about that.
Yeah.
But those are for this stage. That marriage officers law is limited to state employees, so employees of magistrates, courts, and home affairs, etc., etc., etc. Dani.
That could be Danny as well, but I guess it's Dani. Daniel.
So Dani says, yeah. So Dani, that's it. So at this stage, that amendment is for
State employees.
Essentially, but for now.
So marriage officers, but yeah, but Donnie, give it a year or two.
Give it a year or two, and we'll be revisiting this.
Because they've already kind of slid it in the DMs now, and it's just quite conveniently snuck under the radar, and it's there. And now, that's how they work, and it's gonna eventually just be part of everything. Afrikaans, Donnie, English. Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I said it must be Daniel van Straten.
Yeah,
because van Straten. That's.
Oh yeah, but anyway, I mean, I'm just waiting for the. It's like I'm tired. I think historically, Christians over the last 100-odd years have been used to being more of a dominant force in society, so I think they can appeal to society. Once I actually want this to be said, you can't appeal to society. Stop trying to do it. So
stop going to courts.
Stop going to courts. Really, let's rather fight this. If you want to fight it,
it's a spiritual battle.
It's a spiritual battle. So what's going to happen is essentially. And it goes towards everything. I mean, look at it's a similar sort of stand to what John MacArthur did in Los Angeles.
Yes.
All right. He was prepared to put everything on the line. And the Christian church, all the denominations are forever talking. I'm so tired of people across all denominations. No one talking about revival.
But yeah,
right?
I mean,
talking about revival.
This is revival. I mean,
you know when the revival's coming, Scott? It's when churches and church leaders and Christians, when churches, church leaders and saints, church congregants and parishioners and whatever you want to call them, are prepared to lose everything. That's when you're going to have revival.
Yeah.
So until the broader Christian church and its leaders are prepared to put everything on the line, there will be no revival. So what John MacArthur did in Los Angeles was a good step in the right direction, because he went out there, put it on the line, right? And that is essentially
building the kingdom.
that's how you forcibly advance.
But the idea is, Russell, the idea is that no matter if we are outnumbered 1 million to 1,
Doesn't matter. My numbers don't matter.
we win.
Yeah.
Like, why are we so afraid? I don't understand. Like, we win.
Yeah.
We have won. We've already won. What's the big deal?
That's Logos.
No, it's Logos. Like, we have the Logos.
Yeah.
Why are we still talking?
Yeah.
And this is also, like, again,
I'm
back to
tired
this
of-
thing as well. I
I'm
think
just-
that the Pope also, like, okay, he also is another arsehole that just says, like, dumb things, you know? So, Jack Hibbs,
And I think he was the other
Jackie.
pastor. There was another pastor. I think that's the other guy. Yeah.
Daniel says, that's why I can't be a libertarian. Donnie, we call them lolbirds on this show. But he says, I love the roads too much. The libertarian.
Mm. My roads.
Yeah, my roads.
But
My
yeah,
roads.
it's like I've changed my tune. I used to think that we can go to court. I'm like going, I'm actually now I've changed my tune. I look at it and I go, this is embarrassing. I actually, I'm not against the fight. But I like to win. I don't like to fight a losing battle.
You know what?
I don't. It's like I hate to play to lose. I mean,
Also, I've been thinking about this
I
a
hate
lot.
losing.
I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, everyone asks that question. Like, how do we win this thing? How do we? Because the world and the broader church at this point, Christians, are the attack on Christians right now is the worst it's been in centuries.
Worldwide, yeah.
Centuries. I
Yeah.
mean, we haven't experienced anything like this since the Crusades. So, and I often think about this. I think, like, yes, Oak's gonna now need to, like, must I invest in a suit of armor now? Like, what am I supposed to do? Go to Crusades and buy myself a horse and go on the Crusades?
You don't have to do that.
I'm like, no. I've realized that the way that we win this, like, first and foremost, the way that we've always won any battle as a Christian is focus on Christ. Okay, that's the only way that you're going to win this, and just work on your spiritual life. Ignore everything.
Build your families,
Build
build
your
your families, build your
Build
communities.
your communities. And we've spoken about this so many times.
And also that's the key part. But at the same time, when it comes to, how can I put it? I want to put this in a really nice way. It cannot just be about your family, your community, your this, that. Even those things that you are building for Christ's kingdom, right? Even that, you must remember, it's His kingdom,
Yeah.
right? So if somebody comes against the kingdom, right, and
if someone wants to come and subvert your kingdom,
the kingdom of God, you've actually got to put those personal things on the line. So you've basically got to put your community, your family, everything. Because what basically Jesus said, and this is the tough thing. He said,
I came to tell you, hate your mother
and your father.
and
And if he cannot be, unless a man hates his mother and his father, he cannot be my disciple. So yes, he's instructed you. Build here, build there, do this, do this. But if I say give that up,
gone.
you give it up. In other words,
Even your family. Like,
even your
that's
family, your wife, your kids, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, and that's essentially the problem with Christianity now. Okay, is that the early Christians were all about that. That's the one thing that Rome could never destroy in 200 years of persecution. Right, could never destroy that. Right. People were constantly putting everything on the line. That's why it grew. That's why it sustained itself. All right,
And that's why, like,
and
countries
that look at a true sort of revival. Even the Crusades. The Crusades was everybody putting everything on the line. Nobles gave up fortunes, right?
They literally gave their entire fortune to the church to go and pay for armies. And
Well, they
go and
or
fight
what happened?
as well.
So, like a nobleman would raise an army himself, you know, and finance it himself. He would get 500 or 1,000 men together, all right, from his own land, from
community
around, and they would go. They would give up everything, kiss their kids, and say goodbye.
And that's it.
This is, and people talk about, oh, we want revival. Okay, well, here's an opportunity for revival. Here it is, Christian church.
Scared.
God's putting out His hand like this, and He's saying, here is the opportunity. You want the revival? Here it is.
But you see, the whole thing is, Russell, is that the materialist secular world has done such a good job of materializing everyone.
Christians, yeah, especially Christians.
Yeah, they've gone and promised Christians like a pastor will go and say like, okay, they love saying this, like, I'm going to go and plant a church now, and I'm going to, build this building and
get these congregants,
and then I'm just going to like have like biscuits and coffee and that's it.
Or we're going to have, look, listen, those are good things. Lives are changed. People's lives are radically changed.
Of course.
All right. So those are good things. All right. But if people want the mass revivals that they've been praying for 150 odd years in this country or something, you can have the spiritual experiential revivals are good. All right. But essentially, if you look at what, say, for instance, this court, this new law, for instance, it's just people. That's another opportunity for revival.
Exactly.
Every time, it's the way you've got to think. Every time you see something being advanced against you, it's actually a opportunity for revival. So rejoice.
Yeah, of course.
Build.
Hey,
rejoice.
Bursian. There, Bar's just joined. Bursian, that Robin McLaren, that's actually our Pa. How's it, Pa? Welcome. Good to see you. So what we're actually going to do, guys, in the next couple of weeks, you see this braai behind me over here? I think like this was years ago when me and Russell and Dylan first started the YouTube channel about a year and a half ago, probably now.
Yeah, Jesus, a year and a half already.
Now here's the thing, guys. I mean, those of you that are listening and stuff, me and Russell and maybe Dylan has kind of aspirations and stuff. He's still young and all that, but we have no aspirations to be like famous YouTubers or anything like that. We just dig talking. Myself, Russell comes over to my house at least once or twice a week, and comes over for dinner, and we have a couple of drinks, go to the braai room, and we talk. And that's why we did this. That's why we do this channel thing. So anyway, what the original plan of the YouTube channel was to do chats around the braai.
Yeah, well, we don't have a fire going. Imagine if we had the fire going.
No, there's no fire going now.
Imagine how nice it would look.
But yeah, it would look like it. That day when we were going to do the libertarian, the non-aggression pedantry one, we were supposed to do it, but my internet just crashed. But anyway, so...
Hey, John Pontes!
Hey, JP, what's happening? We're not aspiring to be like main YouTube oaks.
No.
Hey, give us what's it called? Super chat.
Hey, here's super chat and check my merch and check my cap and buy this mask and check this coffee. And
it's annoying, but we just want to get on and talk cuck with you oaks and stuff. So leave comments in the comments section and stuff if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel and all that, because I mean, myself and Russell, we do a fair amount of research and reading and all of that, and I do think that we do have a lot of interesting things to talk about and all of that. But
that's a good setting with the braai.
It's going to be going. So anyway, what we are going to be doing in the next couple of weeks is we're going to have Joe Emilio over for braai. We were supposed to have him over on this last weekend, the weekend past, but that was a weekend of my wife's birthday, and I kind of like being married, so I kind of like being alive. My wife would have killed me if I had imagine on her birthday, like, hey, Actually, we're having an Oaks
we're having
Braai.
like a,
Having an Oaks Braai, and we're going to be streaming, but no. So anyway, we're going to be having Joey Media on to hang out. I might have a surprise guest appearance. I haven't even told you about it yet, Russell, but I'm still busy ironing out the things. Big surprise, but we will work it out. Are you twins? No, not at all. I'm the handsome one, Russell's the ugly one. But anyway,
Scott's the skinny one. I'm
skinny.
the obese one.
I'm morbidly obese at this point.
I'm the obese one.
But anyway, yeah. So no, but we are brothers, Donnie. Russell's the older one. You can tell.
5 years older.
And I can still. Yeah, those muscles here. But anyway, yeah. What else are we going to talk about?
Talking about the guest and the
Oh
surprise,
yeah, no,
surprise
but we're
guest.
gonna have Joey Media on here to Braai with Dylan. Hopefully Dylan will be here as well. We'll have the Braai going.
Oh, and another thing, talking about Dylan, he's got his show on tomorrow
Oh
night.
yes,
5
yes.
o'clock. Brilliant.
JP, you're gonna like this. He's got Dr. Gottfried, the guy that wrote that book. What's it called? Fascism.
Fascism history or history something.
Career, history of a career.
History of a career, yeah.
Fascism history or
He's
career of a
basically-
history or something.
He's not a fascist, but he's a student of fascism.
Yeah. And look, this is the point, guys. Is myself and Russell are not fascists.
What?
No, but we're not really fascists. We like a lot of things that that fascists talk about. We check Dad lying over here. Says Russell's the cutest. Just oh, you lie like that with a straight face. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're not fascists.
It's not at 11, it's at 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. South African time, Donnie.
Donnie, it's tomorrow at 5 p.m. South African time.
Not fascist, unsubscribed.
Non-fascist, unsubscribe.
Look, I'm actually, yeah, I've read a bit about.
Clerical fascism.
Yeah, I've come to the realization sometimes that, the only thing to solve the problems in South Africa, the only way we can solve the problems in South Africa is with a clerical fascist
Did you
regime.
mean mine?
Yeah, I'm also drinking those.
Are you?
Yeah. I can't drink all my Tullamore Dew quality. I'll just stick to Roddy
It's
Walker.
literally only like $60 more than this.
So,
Anyway. What were you saying now?
so
Russell's favorite guy is Oswald Moses.
no, look, the story of fascism is very interesting in that all it is, fascism essentially was a reactionary movement against the times of the day. So basically people said that we can't fight this Marxist communist onslaught with free markets and private property rights and liberal ideas and whatever. We need to actually. Basically, fascism was a reaction against communism. No quarter given type of thing.
Well, more so a reaction against Marxism, as in like the cultural aspect.
Correct, especially that. So it was basically no quarter given. We're not budging one single inch. We're not going to try and reason.
Yeah, because
We're not going
what
to-
Marxism was doing is it was attacking the cultural aspects of society
Well,
rather than
the religious, cultural, economic,
Yeah.
everything. So the whole society was under threat. And basically, guys like Mussolini and Franco and Mosley and these guys, they all had the ideas of their own sort of ideas of how they were going to tackle this thing.
Yeah, that's the perfect comment there, Bugulu, Bursian. Yeah, I think it's kind
very
of
much.
is relevant due to Weimar 2.0 we're experiencing.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is the
Yeah.
1920s,
This
30s
is-
all over again
This
at the
is
moment.
rewind. This is 2.0. It's Weimar 2.0. It's exactly that. Yeah.
So we're in for basically, and whenever you look at something like fascism, don't look at it through the mainstream media lens, the way they blurt out everything today. Look at it through the context of the times and how it was lived out.
So Daniel just asked now, was Oscar Brandtwacht fascist? Now,
Yes, no.
Somewhat, yeah. But here's the point about fascism and especially fascism in the 20s and the 30s and stuff is every country had its own brand of fascism.
Spanish had their own.
Spanish had their
Italians
own.
had
Italians,
the English.
They all had their own version.
Portuguese.
Portuguese had theirs as well. They all had their own sort of brand of fascism, and the reason for that is that fascism is very deeply nationalist.
So you take Mosley, for instance. Mosley's idea, shocks people, but Mosley, he said straightly, his brand of fascism was basically a direct democracy, for goodness sakes. So he didn't promote dictatorship or anything like that. But he basically said, he almost had a system, a complicated system, but the general rule was that a direct democracy where Parliament was a place of decision making, not talking. That's why Mosley's phrase was action. You know what I mean? And it was a reaction. His was a reaction to unemployment. So unemployment for him was the biggest problem, and he saw the parties of the day just talking about the problem. And another thing he wanted to get rid of was he wanted to get rid of political parties. So he called it ending the strife of parties. And he wanted a direct democracy where people say, okay, we want this, and somebody implements it. You don't have parties getting in the way, talking all the time.
Well, here's the thing is...
And what's so evil about that?
Here's the thing is, Russell, is call it fascism. I think that the word fascism, and this is very important. We know the left are very, very good at word smithing, and using certain words as a way to taint your opinion. Okay, so words like fascist nowadays, I had a Lolbert, that Shark Jonker guy. I was chatting to him. He sent me a friend request one day. I accepted, whatever. So I was having a chat with him on something on Facebook or whatever, and the guy basically he said, we were talking about fascism, and I said, look, I'm not a fascist, but I like a lot of their ideas. Boom, unfriend, block, boom, cheers.
Well, you see, the thing
and
is,
I'm like, yes, bro, really? Because people have this weird idea of the word fascism.
Well,
they believe that, and it's not just the left that uses the word fascist wrong. It's
the right.
It's the right. It's mostly the right.
80% of all people don't actually understand what it was. I didn't understand what it was until a couple of years ago.
Me neither.
That's why I've thoroughly enjoyed. You must go over to Mystery Patriarch's channel.
Yeah, go check out his series.
He's got a series on fascism, and so he spent a lot of time and effort on this, and he really red-pilled me on the idea of what it was and what it wasn't, and its context and all that sort of thing. When you start gaining a greater contextual understanding of the whole thing, it really is much ado about nothing.
Yes.
On the whole. But remember, fascism's not National Socialism, eh?
Yeah. So so they use that word, fascism, now. So in the 1920s and 1930s and stuff, yes, obviously the oaks like Mussolini and Mosley and all of them, they labeled themselves as fascists. But they labeled themselves as fascists almost as a sort of a European nationalist unity against Marxism, because their idea wasn't like the liberal right or whatever it is, like the Allies and World War II and stuff. The idea of
internationalism.
We are going to now form the United Nations, and it was nothing like that. They knew and they understood each other, but they were nationalist. So they had their own national interests at heart.
First, and then
first. So it was basically like Italy first, Spain
Britain
first. Britain first,
And because
but that's what their idea was. That's what fascism really is. And I think it's sort of molded or moved away into something different nowadays. I mean, so for example, like a modern day guy that a lot of people debate as to whether he's a fascist or not is someone like Mussolini. I mean, not Mussolini, or Augusto Pinochet. So Augusto
really,
Pinochet, a lot of people are like, oh no, he's not really a fascist, but his rule did have some sort of fascist elements to it. So I think what it's kind of morphed into that. So I don't know. I think today, pretty much anyone that's anti-Marxist is.
Well, Antifa are actually right. All right, they call themselves Antifa because basically they see anybody who's not on their side as their enemy.
Yeah.
So that's why who's their primary enemy? Fascists.
The fascists.
So basically anybody who's not a communist, Marxist,
is a fascist. In their mind.
Because fascism is, they understand history better than us.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Fascism is literally the biggest threat to Marxism and communism.
Yeah. And that's why they call themselves Antifa. I call myself Anti-Ma. Anti-Marxist. Anti-Ma.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's the Antifa they've got it bang on. Guys, the left know these stuff better than we do.
They know the history. They know it's actually right. It looks all weird and that sort of thing, but it's actually very clever behind the scenes. It looks crazy on the surface, but they're actually very smart. Actually,
I think the Oaks probably pulling the strings and stuff. Yeah,
are very smart.
Again, it's
Oaks behind with pulling the strings with lots of useful idiots.
Yeah, and I mean, Trump is kind of like a modern version of an anti-Marxist.
Mm.
He's kind of he's very anti-Marxist light. He's not quite a Mosley, but he's an anti-Marxist light. Or he's not quite a Mussolini, who was.
But it's interesting. I think the longest running fascist regime was the Portuguese one. The Salazar was.
I think so. Yeah.
I think they ruled for 30 odd years. I think they ruled Portugal for 30 odd years.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, guys. I personally think that the fascist approach, the hard stance, strong arm approach to defeating Marxism is pretty much the thing that's going to come closest to actually defeating Marxism.
Yeah,
even
but
in today's time.
Like I say, I mean, the thing is, fascism only exists because communism exists. If there was no Marxism, there would be no fascism. That's basically, if you want to look at it that way, that's the way I see it.
Donnie says, I wonder what Davy Rutt thinks of fascism. Ask him. Go into Prague and ask him.
No, that's not Prague.
Oh, no, it's not Prague. Who's it?
Dan Rutt is Prague.
Dan Rutt.
Davy Rutt is the Economist.
Oh. Okay.
Welkom by die Prague YouTube kanaal.
That's Dan.
That's Dan Rutt, yeah.
But Davy Rutt, the Economist.
Yeah. He's a pretty good economist.
I don't know. Fascist economics. I don't know much about fascist economics.
I think basically it's very much. I've read up a bit on British fascism, Mosley's one, and it was very much a idea of the will of the people not through political parties, but through instructions to corporations. So basically corporations, but not unhinged corporations, unaccountable corporations, accountable corporations.
Like they have in the US now.
Yeah, that's unaccountable corporation.
Rampant capitalism.
Yeah, that's unaccountable corporations. Mosley's was about corporate, accountable corporations running the show.
Guys, what is your, in the comments section, what are your thoughts on capitalism? I mean, I agree that capitalism is, if you want to generate wealth, obviously it's the best way to do it. But I have a problem with rampant and unhinged capitalism. Because what it does then is it materializes everything. And again,
you can't, as long as people don't break things down into economic units the whole time.
Well, they will. That's the thing, because then humans become economic units to be exploited. And I sound like a Marxist.
No, but
now,
no,
it's-
fascists say exactly the same. Mosley said.
Do they now?
Fascists say exactly
Fascists say the same.
say the same thing. He says fascism reject egalitarianism. So fascism do not believe in the Marxist egalitarianism where envy plays a role. Fascists say that you're not allowed to do that. That's wicked. That's wrong, right? And but they also say at the same time, okay, we need to work together. So basically, in Mosley's famous speech, he said, "Fascism, above all, rests upon teamwork, the ability to subordinate every interest section or individual to the nation as a whole." So essentially, it's about coming together in teamwork.
Oh, but Russell, you sound like such a collectivist.
It is collectivist. It is collectivist, but it's not Marxist.
You sound like such a collectivist, Russell. Stop being
It
such a
is,
collectivist.
but it doesn't have the elements of envy attached to it. That's the problem with Marxism, is that it's this nasty envy. It's basically the bourgeois and proletariat, the this and the that. The fascism says no more strife. Fascism says no more strife. Mosley said, let's get rid of political parties, the strife of parties. Let's get rid of all this.
Too much talking.
Too much talking about
That's what
nonsense.
politics really is. It's just a
Correct.
bunch of people just getting
Talking.
around talking cuck.
Talking nonsense and obstrurificating
But that's
everything.
what this whole world is about now. Too many people just talking cuck.
Yeah, and that's
When you got to understand take a second of your life to just sort of introspect and look inside and understand and see the world around you. See the world. I mean, see it properly. And you'll notice that it's all just noise.
most of it talking.
The whole world is noisy. It's so much noise.
But that's the whole idea. They want to create much strife as possible. And basically, fascism seeks to end the strife of parties and sections and individuals.
Boogaloo Brucian says, are we on the watch list now?
I love being on watch lists.
JP. I don't care if you're on a watch list.
Wilhelm Röpke, Humane Economy. Yeah, it's a Humane Economy, Röpke. I don't know. I don't know much about him.
I don't
know much about him. But essentially, fascism seeks to end strife and coming together. So it basically says, whereas Marxism actually encourages strife.
End strife, but also understand
The bigger
that-
picture.
Okay, so they are anti-egalitarian.
Yeah, they are anti-egalitarian.
But they do also understand. They also do understand eternal strife as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So they understand that it's internally as a nation, you are always going to be. So basically, you just have your guard up all the time. That's
Your
what-
own God. Yeah. But it rejects the idea of strife.
within the broader
Correct.
community
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. It says it actually seeks to end strife.
Interesting. Donnie says it's a book. Wilhelm Röpke. Where's he from? Germany.
Yeah, well, he's probably a national socialist.
He's probably a national socialist. Oh no. So yeah, National Socialism.
Which is not actually fascism, but anyway.
No, it's not fascism.
It's its own little branch off. Although
Well, it is. I think
Hitler got hold of Mussolini's ideas and just like ran with it, I think.
no, I don't. But I don't think I would label Hitler. If I were to label him a fascist, he'd be a very bad fascist.
But I mean, Mussolini had no racial stuff. Mosley didn't have any racial
I
stuff.
think Mussolini had somewhat.
No, he didn't have racial
But
stuff.
I think what's his name? Who was the actual clerical fascist? That
He was an Italian.
um,
He was an Italian guy, wasn't he?
guy. Oh man, it's on the tip of my
He was the
tongue.
one that actually came up with the idea of clerical fascism.
Yeah. What's his name? He was the guy that basically had fascism down pat. He did a good job of fascism. Swiss.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
It's gone for an hour now.
No, look, like I say, guys, just if you really want to find out more about fascism, it is very, very interesting. It's fascinating. It plays into the world we're living in now. Go to Mr. Patriarch's channel, watch his series on fascism, and watch tomorrow he's interviewing Dr. Paul Gottfried at 5 p.m. South African time, and watch that. It's going to be great. So I think.
Yeah, put it on the braai, like while you're braaiing and stuff, just put it playing there on the laptop or whatever, like we're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to do the same. We're going to be watching. It's going to be epic.
Yeah. Anyway, any other things you want to talk about?
No,
We've just gone over an hour. Anyway, thank you so much to our listeners and our guys that have been listening. JP, Boogaloo, Brucian, Donnie van Straten, and Pa. Thank you for all of you for coming in and listening.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. It's thanks for coming and watching.
All your continued support.
Yeah, we love it.
Thanks for all the super chats and
super chats. Yeah,
just like guys.
We're gonna put a snap scan or something up there.
Scan, guys.
Just snap scan.
Yeah. Oh, there's Tyrone. It's just a little
Tyrone. He's been watching the whole time. He's sneaky bugger.
He's sneaky bugger. Sipping on his Red Heart and Coke. I don't know, he doesn't drink Red Heart and Coke. He's on a diet now. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. Stay reactionary out there because
God wills it.
God wills